In Tanzania, there are some kind of films we're not allowed to tell. Initially, I thought all these things are stereotype because I hadn't experienced them. So I was asked the same question, like, what would you do and everything? Not knowing that next week I would experience the same challenge. Funding, distribution, these are common challenges. Mm-hmm. But the ones that I experienced myself, I'll just start with the recent one, the award winning. So in the festival, people, it's, oh my God, they're winning award, it's beautiful. But in the background, me and my co-producer, we are really facing a challenge with. I'm asking myself, is this something that every filmmaker experience with these festivals? Or is it because we are newcomers to the industry?
Kwa kuwa Agata yuko hapa, kwa nini tusimkutanishe na Mary Rose?
Najua unaweza kuniona mimi mjinga, lakini akitokea mwanaume mwenye sifa anazotaka na wale wanaanzisha familia.
Kuna kijana kajitokeza, anataka kukuoa.
Ndoa ikifanyika, lazima mila na desturi zetu zifuatwe. Huyu mama anajua huyo.
Jina mashuka, ndio sherehe.
Wanataka kujihakikisha kama wewe ni bikra.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Filmmakers Conversation right here on AJ for Short. I am here with a guest today all the way from Tanzania. Let's get to know more about our guest, and when we come back, we'll go straight into the conversation. Doreen R. Kilimbe is a Tanzanian filmmaker and storyteller dedicated to bringing Tanzanian culture to global audiences. As a producer and screenwriter, her work has gained recognition for its depth, creativity, and cultural authenticity. Doreen co-produced The Midnight Bride, a celebrated film that has won awards in Zambia, Kenya, and Uganda, and also won an award for Best Actress in Tanzania at Zanzibar International Film Festival. With experience in both creative and logistical aspects of filmmaking, Doreen has contributed to acclaimed projects, including Life Happens with Bahati Joyce as a line producer. She has also worked with industry leaders like Mnet, gaining valuable expertise in managing productions from concept to completion. An alum of the Great Lakes Creative Producers Lab and the DFMI Business Lab, Doreen has honed her skills in approaching filmmaking as both an art and a business. Her participation in global events such as the Cannes Film Festival and the ACP Forum in Ivory Coast has further broadened her perspective and deepened her commitment to building bridges between Tanzania and the international film community. Passionate about storytelling, Doreen strives to amplify Tanzanian voices on the global stage, blending cultural heritage with compelling narratives that resonate with audiences worldwide. All right, so you've heard all about her, you've seen some of her works as we've gotten to know her from the bio, and I'm so excited to have Doreen in the studio. So Doreen, welcome to AJ for Short.
Thank you so much, AJ, for having me. It's such an honor. Thank you.
It's such an honor having you as well. Now, before we begin, so I've realized most of my guests from the southern part of Africa, East Africa, they always have a meaning to their name. So I'm curious to know, what is the meaning of Kilimbe?
So the funny thing is, I myself don't even know the meaning of Kilimbe, and my father has never shared that with me.
Well,
but I'll look for it.
Absolutely. This is an avenue for you to ask your dad. So the next time that we are having an interview or we are meeting, I definitely have to find out what the meaning of Kilimbe is, because it's such a beautiful name. And thank you again for joining. I quite remember our first interaction was in 2022, January. Yes, 2022, the early part of 2022, when we were on the same cohort for the Multi-Choice Talent Factory. Shout outs to Multi-Choice Talent Factory.
Yeah.
Yes, so it was a nice experience. We were in the same cohort and we were also in the same subgroup, so we got a chance to interact. And it was a great interaction, and we've been in touch since then. And I will say since then, I've realized a lot of phenomenal growth in your journey as a filmmaker. But I would like to know where exactly it started. Because I know of Cannes, I know you've been to Côte d'Ivoire, you've been to so many other different places, and your work is also taking you out there. But when did it all start for you? When did you decide that filmmaking was something you wanted to do as a career?
So the story part is that when I was a little girl, I used to enjoy seeing these Philippine stories, some movies from our country. And at that time, I only thought filmmaking is about acting. So I had a passion of becoming an actress. Then I remember coming to Dar es Salaam for university, and I became part of the Riot organization. Then I started doing stage. So I started with stage plays. We called them skits. So what we could do, we tell stories with actions and sound, but no dialogues. So that was a fun activity to do. But later on, I met also someone from the same organization, brought me to their company, K Media, and they introduced me to something called line producing. So I started learning what is line producing and all that, and did a TV show with them, Life Happens with Bahati Joyce. Then later on is when I joined MultiChoice. So when I was in MultiChoice, I got to understand, so there is more. And the thing that I chose, I love telling stories. So I said I'll just be a scriptwriter automatically. But when it comes to producing, it's because I wanted to do something that would align with my academic background. Whereas currently I do have a bachelor's degree in accounting. So that's how that got in. And yeah, I can say the rest is history now. I've learned to specialize, and yeah, I'm a producer and a scriptwriter. So for me, I really don't know why, but what I can say, you know that film Moana, the animation?
Moana.
So you remember Moana is saying, you know, the line where the sea meets the sky, it's calling me.
Calling me, exactly.
Yes, so that's for me. And despite I love numbers, I did accounting, amazing, I enjoy. But when it comes to filmmaking, it's easy for me. Like I can stay up at night just to think of creating something for people to see. I'm just Moana in this case. That's what I can say. It's passion. Yeah.
So the line where the sky meets the sea is where Doreen, my guest here, has her inspiration. Basically, filmmaking calling out her name and she being motivated. Amazing. And your work has, preceded you. It has taken you many places. You've been to Zanzibar International Film Festival. You've been to Cannes. Now, Cannes is one of the top 5 of the film festivals. I mean, my audience will know. I've spoken about this before, especially during the Accra Indie Film Festival, when we were talking about filmmaking and filmmakers and film festivals and how they can relate with each other. Cannes is one of the top 5. So how is that for you? Would you say that's like your best achievement yet?
I could say yes, considering I'm just a newcomer in the film industry. I had never attended a film festival, by the way. So Cannes became the first film festival I attended.
Wow.
Well, it was overwhelming. It was very overwhelming. Everything is so new. Everything is totally new. Yeah, but I can say it's one among the biggest achievements. And the funny thing is, initially, I didn't know much about Cannes until I shared with my friend, like, hey, I'm going to Cannes Festival. She's not a filmmaker, but she's so aware with the film industry. She was so excited. So I became also excited. And now I feel intimidated because now I wish to take my film there. So the dream has become bigger and challenging.
Absolutely. Oh, no, that's no cause for you to be intimidated at all. If anything, it should be, I guess that it's a big shoe to fit, especially early on in your career, but we're proud of you. MTF is proud of you. I am proud of you. And then I'm sure everyone in Tanzania is so proud of their daughter, the daughter of the soil, who is taking film and going out there. But I mean, we've heard, okay, you went to Cannes, but what exactly did you do there? And what was the purpose of going to one of the top 5?
Initially, back in November last year, I was in a lab, Great Lakes Producers Lab, the Creative Producers Lab. So they had partnered with CNC, which is an organization. I forget the long form, but it had a forum or a program which is called Dental ACP, where ACP stands for Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific, where they support filmmakers from these places. So they have this program which is Dental at Cannes, which is Producers Under Spotlight. So we were given that opportunity. So Alexian from CNC told us about this opportunity, and they we got a favor, like 2 people from the lab, we get the opportunity to go for Cannes this year. So when the application window opened, we applied, and just one day seated, received an email, congratulations. So yeah. And it was mostly to get to learn and connect. It was more about the learning part, I can say. Yes.
Interesting.
Program.
That's amazing. Share with us what motivates you as a filmmaker. What are your inspirations? Where do you draw inspiration from?
So I draw inspiration from random things. It could be a quote. Maybe I hear a quote, maybe a situation. Then I'm like, I want to tell a story around this. Sometimes it's something like a title. The way it sounds, I'm like, this is beautiful. Something can be told from these words. Yeah. Like for Midnight Bride, the one we did last year, the one that came out last year, being my first feature film to do. Actually, the inspiration came from many, many places. At first, it was like, I want to tell a mystery story. The funny thing, this was supposed to be a murder mystery, but it went all around. It just became a drama. And I was inspired by the film that TK showed us during MTF, the short film, if you recall, where there is a wedding happening, and this man is like, I don't want to marry this lady anymore because she's not a virgin. It was something along the shit ceremony.
Yes.
So like, okay, I could still tell a mystery that could go around this place. And the idea of using twins came from a story that one of the best films from Tanzania I watched as a kid. It's titled The Lost Twins. So I was like, I want to tell a story of that nature. And I'm really happy. I was casting for twins, but God said, you were curious, how do they shoot twins if people are not twins?
Right.
And it happened. Yeah.
Interesting. And I know the actress got the best performer at the Zanzibar International Film Festival. So congratulations on that. Now, your first ever feature film, taking you places. What is the feeling like? I know you mentioned something about being intimidated about it and everything, and it's big shoes to fill, but how do you move on from it moving forward? And I'm saying this for someone who's probably watching right now and has achieved something huge. And now it's now left for them to, take it a step further. What are the things that are keeping you grounded? How are you coping with it?
Well, I think, as you say, despite the fact of being intimidated, like what next? What will I do next? Will I be able to do like what I did previously? Well, I can say it is giving me motivation not to settle for less. Like even when it comes to thinking of a story, I am thinking at a different level, because I'm like, now you are at this level, you have to do your level best. You don't go down. It's either you maintain that or go higher. So I'm really taking my project very seriously, even considering currently I was sharing with my friend, we're developing a story, and I felt like the story is missing something. Like it's a normal story, and I don't want to tell normal stories, because everybody's telling normal stories. Most of people are telling normal stories. So I want to tell unique stories that will always make me the best I can say.
Absolutely. And the sky is even just the starting point for you. Now, let's talk about filmmaking in Africa. Now, let's be honest, I speak to a lot of African filmmakers. They all have their own issues. They all have their own struggles. Some are unique to the individual. Some are unique to a part of the country. Some are also unique, and some are also common to like, oh, this is definitely something that we all share. What would you say are some of the struggles that you go through as a female and as also a filmmaker in Africa?
Okay, it's really crazy. First of all, just being a filmmaker from Tanzania, it's a challenge by itself, considering our industry is still growing. we do have individuals who are representing us well outside, but there is a lot of work to be done. I can share my challenges. I'm sure a lot of people will say funding, distribution, these are common challenges. But the ones that I experienced myself, I'll just start with the recent one, the award winning. So in the festival, people, it's, oh my God, they're winning award, it's beautiful. But in the background, me and my co-producer, we are really facing a challenge with some festivals when it comes to, they promise cash prizes, like, oh, this award comes with a cash prize. But now the struggle of getting that cash prize, it now makes you feel like a beggar, you know? Like, I'm asking myself, is this something that every filmmaker experience with these festivals? Or is it because we are newcomers to the industry? And what I can say is maybe to the organizers, like, when you are promising us cash prices or you are promising us a certain prices, they should honor to these prices, because even if you Google, one of the way a producer can make return on investment, festivals is among the things that they will be part of. So we are really putting hard work. Please don't make us feel like now we are begging. I'm not going to mention any festivals, and don't ask me, but yeah, we've really faced that challenge. It got to a point I was like, now, should I just make films for my audiences without interacting with festivals? But then you understand, as a producer, yeah, it's your project, but there are people in the project. There are people like cinematographer, their work needs to be known. Like, they need to be acknowledged. So my prayer, my hope, my wish is festivals should honor what they promise to the filmmakers.
That's a very interesting look. And to be honest, you're not the only filmmaker who has mentioned this. I remember when in my interview with Gene Edu, and he was speaking on the fact that personally they released a short film and they did not release it in the festivals. They just put it on YouTube. And the question was, why would you make such a great film and put it on YouTube? Why not take it to the festivals? You know, people are asking all those questions. And he said that access was an issue, especially when you give your film to some of the film festivals. There are all these restrictions. You can't do this. You can't put it here. You can't put it here. And all of those are rather inhibiting people's creativity, not giving them the chance to, express themselves beyond the fact that, okay, the audience at the film festival sees it, then what next? You give them all these restrictions. So in addition to what you've just said, I would also just add that maybe things can be a bit more lenient, so that as people are submitting their films to these film festivals, you also get a chance to show it at other places, and it's not just exclusive to those festivals. So thank you for sharing that. It's really important to note. And I hope that whoever is watching and is a part of a film festival or knows anyone who's part of it or is even planning on creating a film festival will take this into consideration. I would like to know, as a woman in film, there definitely must be some unique challenges that you have faced, not only as an African, not only as someone who lives in Tanzania, but generally because of your gender. I will say that the women in Nollywood, for instance, are changing that narrative and making it very appealing. You know, there are a lot of women who are the ones breaking the records and putting the film industry in Africa on the map. But aside that, there are definitely day-to-day things that we go through as women in film. And I'd like you to share some of that, maybe that are unique to you as a Tanzanian. What would you say are some of the struggles that you face as a female filmmaker? And probably for someone who is watching right now, how have you been able to, overcome them?
Initially, I thought all these things are stereotypes because I hadn't experienced them. And I can say I did have a chance to be part of the panelists during ZIFF, and MultiChoice was doing their workshop. So I was asked the same question, like, what would you do and everything, not knowing that next week I would experience the same challenge. So I've been in contact with this guy. I know, right? And I was expecting him to help me on sorting some issues which are professional in the film space. But now the issue comes, he's starting acting sexually towards me. And I recall we had also had a chat with the lead cast, who is also my friend from my film, and we were talking about these things. Someone was like telling her, so now you do film, it means now you sleep with producers and directors to get roles and everything. And we are like, no, this is just a mindset. But it's also a mindset, but at the same time, it's happening. I can say I've experienced it, and there are some people out there who have this stereotype, like some people get where they are, like some women get where they are because maybe they offer the sexual bribe. So yeah, it's still a challenge. Yeah.
What would you say has been what has kept you grounded throughout all these temptations and all these things that come your way?
So for me, I'm also spiritual. So I tend to believe that if you are God sent to help me, you'll help me regardless. And there is no way you are going to block my blessings just because you are a giant somewhere and you want me to offer something I cannot give. I'm Moana. Moana got to that mountain regardless of how Maui was stubborn. So I'll get there. So yeah.
No Maui is gonna come in our way. Period.
No,
I like that.
period.
I like that. I really, really like that. Amazing spirit you have there. Now, let's talk about future projects. We've done the Midnight Bride, which has been going on. And I remember I had a conversation with you before, and you were saying that, well, I mean, you feel like, okay, Midnight Bride has done its thing, it has gone around and everything. But that was even before you got the award for the at ZIFF, or even got nominated. Yeah. But you see, it has come full circle. Now, what is the way forward? What are some of the projects they're working on, or you're looking to work on, and maybe future prospects for Doreen?
So currently there's a project I'm developing, a feature film, which I was also developing under Great Lakes Creative Producers Lab. So spoilers, it's titled A Cover Story. It's going to be a story that follows a social media influencer. So it's all about drama, the lights, and everything. So we are currently at the late stages of development. We are starting the scripting process to have our first draft, but also we are still also looking for funders and everything. And also I'll be working with the same director because I find it easy for me working with him. Yeah. Absolutely. But at the same time, also we are doing a short film, which is also in development. We would like to do this short film before the year close. Yeah, this one is just a simple drama, but there is a way we want to tell it with a metaphor. I can't give you all the spoilers, so problem. That you call me back again and talk about it. So yeah.
Absolutely. You're definitely going to come back. I like that you even said it already. So she has already booked the slots. If you're watching now, you already know that there are future projects coming out from the camp of Doreen, and we're definitely going to have her here to talk about it and, to give us more of the juice. Okay, so we've come to the end of the interview. I'd just like to get to know your final words. Maybe, okay, before you get to your final words, maybe I would like to know is what do you think of the Tanzanian film industry, and what do you think is the way forward? If someone was to ask me about the Ghanaian film industry, I would have a lot of things to say. But then for you, I mean, you mentioned that it's budding, save a few filmmakers who are putting it on the map, including you. So what would you say is the way forward for the Tanzanian film industry, and then also your final words?
For the Tanzanian film industry, something I didn't mention earlier is I could say it's also a challenge that I wish the government would see through. In Tanzania, there are some kind of films we are not allowed to tell. So there is a sky there. There is a limit there, which include politics, religion, stories regarding the army. But again, I tend to say like, as storytellers, we are the ones who, like, there is a way we introduce our country to the people through our stories. Now we know USA has been able to tell the world like we are very superior, and we'll get this through their movies. And now when there is a limit, really it's limiting the creative part. But I'm not yet to understand if it's in general, or these are the themes that there is a way you should tell the story that it does not affect the topic you are delivering. So I think they should look into that. Creativity should not be limited. Creativity is fluid. You can't just contain it in a simple container. It's like an ocean. But also on my last word, I could say to people who are aspiring to become filmmakers, when we were in MTF, there is a phrase which we used to say in Swahili, which is cinema ngumu, meaning cinema is hard. So when you come to do film, just get yourself ready. Be ready mentally, emotionally, financially. Just be ready. Be prepared for anything that could come your way. So otherwise, I welcome everybody to come and tell stories, because the stories are the ones that keep us alive even when we are gone.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I know you just gave your final words, but I was really intrigued by what you spoke about, that art cannot be contained. Creativity needs to, it needs to take shape. It's not like a solid, it's not like a solid matter which has like shape and mass. But for this one, it has the ability to shape shift. It has the ability to spread out, just like air. So we're hopeful. We are really, really hopeful. And yay, thank you for sharing those thoughts. I never knew that was a restriction, or that is something you have to consider as a filmmaker. And these are some of the things that also restrict filmmakers. I mean, even in my country, for instance, Ghana, there are still some things that you cannot openly speak on. And so making a film about it kind of, it breaches certain laws, and it's definitely limiting. But we are hopeful that we get opportunity to explore more, and maybe we can use art as a way to just foil society in a way that is not too, the word that is trending, demure.
Very demure.
Find a demure way of telling the story, so that it's not too overt and it's not too in people's faces. But at the end of the day, you can't stop us from talking about these issues, because they need to be spoken about. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's really, really been a pleasure, Doreen, having you here. It's been a long time coming, and I'm really grateful for your time, despite all the challenges behind the scenes. But we are grateful that we were able to have this meeting. And yeah, guys, you've heard from Doreen Kilimbe. She is in Tanzania. She's a Tanzanian producer, screenwriter, and hopefully we'll see you on the screen sometime. Actress?
Oh, yes, that part. I also act, but I don't want to call myself an actress. I don't want it to be an identity, but I also act. Yes.
Exactly. So you're giving us some Tyler Perry kind of thing.
Yeah.
Tyler definitely not call himself an actor, but we see him. No, interestingly, he what does he say? He said he's a conveyor of stories. Like a vessel that is being used for stories. Yes, because I mean, you can't box him. He's doing the acting, he's doing the producing, writing, and everything.
Directing.
Exactly. So I guess we can put you in that box, or no, we can put you in that category as well. No boxes.
Yeah.
No boxes. Thank you so much, Doreen. I'm really grateful that we had this opportunity, and I'm hopeful that we get to meet in person. Yes, and I had the opportunity to speak to someone from Tanzania a few weeks back, Aika. Yes, and yes, I was really happy that she also knows you. So it's quite a close community you have as filmmakers in Tanzania, and we're looking forward to more and more of the projects, and we can't wait to have you back here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to be back, and I'm really grateful. Thank you for sharing my story. Be blessed.
Be blessed, babe. And I want to say thank you to everybody who has watched up to this point. Thank you so much for being a great audience. If you have any comments, questions, you can always leave them in the comment section, and I'll definitely convey them to Doreen so that the next time she comes, you have all the answers that you need. And yeah, I'll definitely see you in my next video. Thank you. And from us, it's bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching.